Hello and welcome to this month's Geek Embassy Hangout. I'm Regina McMenemy and I am here with Rhonda, Julie, and Dante. How y'all doing?
Hey,
Thank
good.
you.
I'm doing fantastic.
Great. I'm so glad to have you guys here today. This is our monthly hangout. As we discussed last month, we decided to do this month's hangout about music.
Mhm.
Which is a new topic since we're branching out into new topics for the Geek Embassy, a little past our gaming focus that we had with Game On Girl. So we've got some great topics to discuss and some personal stories I'm sure we're going to share.
Oh, goodness. We've already been sharing a lot of personal stories today. I'm not sure how many more I can handle.
Yes.
The warm-up conversation, people, that you missed was pretty special. Just go ahead and say that.
You're the Alexes.
Before we sort of launch into our topic, I was wondering, I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Dante and Julie are both new ambassadors to the embassy. So I was hoping that you guys could give just a little, elevator introduction for yourself, couple sentences, what you're interested in, what you're writing about for the embassy. Dante, why don't you go first?
I knew you were going to do that. That makes me so sad. Let's see. I'm Dante. I am living in Portland by way of Connecticut. That's where I'm from. I am currently an unemployed librarian, so if anybody out there is hiring, please just call me. I really enjoy not starving. That's my number one thing. I love comic books. I do a lot about comic book culture. I do a lot about gaming, mostly tabletop role playing kind of stuff. Not so much with the video games. I enjoy watching video games. I just kind of suck at playing them. And music is probably like the topic that I am the least knowledgeable about in the world. So this is the best hangout that I could have possibly joined to start. and I'm a roller derby referee as well. For the Rose City Rollers World Champion Wheels of Justice. Please come and watch us because we're amazing.
Oh, they are amazing. I have to put a plug in. I absolutely love the Rose City Rollers. So
They're fantastic.
they're pretty cool. And I'm bummed too. So Isabella is in here, and Isabella is a derby girl for the fresh meat team for
Storm City.
Storm City, yeah. For the Southern Washington group. So
Yep,
cool.
It's pretty awesome. That's me.
Yeah.
Yep. I do pistol fingers all the time. It's there's a time hop. My time hop is basically just a whole bunch of pictures of me doing this. It's great. Going back 10 years. It's embarrassing.
Awesome.
Anyways, enough about me. Please go to somebody else. Anybody else.
Somebody stop me.
Yep.
All right, Julie, have a little background.
Well,
And just so you know, your band picture is live on the YouTube link. So
oh, no.
it did have when you wanted it to be on YouTube.
That geek picture. Okay, so I live just north of Portland, and I'm going to be writing about kind of the I don't know, I guess more the entertainment side of the Geek Embassy. So, of course, music is the main thing I'm into, and I started a short playlist, which I'm going to make longer. It's going to be 10 songs from now on, and then also just kind of entertaining. Like I love to host, so things about parties and maybe some theme parties and drinks and food for your parties and all kinds of good stuff I can think of. So. So hopefully people will enjoy that kind of thing, because most gamers like to have friends over and do those kinds of things. So hopefully that'll help out.
Yeah, you've got so far 2 posts on the playlist, right? And the party tips.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. And Dante's articles are, you did the introductory piece, which I can't remember the name of, something about Eternal Light.
Oh, goodness gracious. It was Through Me the Way to Eternal Geek.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
That was me.
Yes, and a great piece where you were talking about sort of who creates who in terms of RPG characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to write that one for a long time, and you finally gave me an outlet where I could actually publish it. So,
Awesome.
yay!
Cool.
That's what we're here for. Wonderful. Well, welcome. I'm so glad to have you both contributing to the Geek Embassy. And we are still looking for more ambassadors. So if you're interested in producing content for the Geek Embassy, go ahead and email me at Regina@thegeekembassy. So before we sort of launch into our topic, I have to do one final plug.
Okay.
For myself. Today is Sunday, July 10th. I am in a contest with The Nerdist on a website called Inkshares, which is ending on Friday the 15th. I am crowdfunding a book called Mothering the Game. I've been talking about it everywhere. Literally have been on 4 podcasts in the last 6 days.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of work.
Jesus.
It was an incredible amount of work. I got to visit with the Pixelkin podcast, Gaming with the Moms, which I absolutely love. Pixelkin is a great site. They talk about family gaming, how to enjoy gaming as a family. So I got to talk with them. I was on Dead Pixel Live on the All Games Network. I was on Mom's Minute, also on the All Games Network with the host of Dead Pixel Live. That's his mom's show, so she talks about video games.
That's incredible.
It was. I didn't know. Like, I knew nothing about that show when I went to be on it, and it's live. It was a live broadcast. And so I listened to the first half an hour before they had me on the show, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it's his mom essentially talking about the video games that she plays. So that was really fun, yeah. And I just recorded on Thursday this week and will come out tomorrow with Engaged Family Gamers. Steve, who runs that, who's also on the Pixelkin podcast, had me on his show. So we talked about Pokemon Go on that show and talked about the book. So I have links to that up on the Geek Embassy, so make sure to check them out. I talk a lot about the book. I read some exclusive excerpts both on the Gaming with the Moms episode and the Engaged Family Gamers have excerpts that I haven't released in any other format yet. So if you want to hear more about the book and hear me read more of it, both of those podcasts have more information and more content from the book. So please go place a pre-order right now.
We're so close.
We're so close.
Do it.
So close. I need a few more. Right now I'm in 6th place. I'd really like to finish in the top 5 because I've heard from other contest people that if you finish in the top 5, there's a small bonus that you get. So I'd really like to get that bump up into 5th place if I can. So, yeah, so I need maybe 10 more orders to get into the top 5. Top 4 would be even better. That's about 20 away right now. So please go place your order and support my lifelong dream of becoming a published author.
Yeah.
Please, that's so few books, 10 and 20.
Yeah, it's so close. It's so tight. I'm nowhere near the top 3. Like in the last 3 days, shot up to they're like 50 ahead of me and the next 2 places now. Yeah, they just came out of nowhere. Which is great. They're both good books. The leader has been in the lead since the beginning. There's an anthology of 15 Inkshares authors, people who already have projects finished on Inkshares, so they already have successfully funded books.
Sure.
All got together and put an anthology together, and they've been in first place the entire time. It's called Too Many Controllers. It's 15 short stories based on video games. It looks like a great book. I'm really happy for them. They're already to quill. Like, they've already got a contract for that book to be published. The rest of us are still trying to get to the point where we can actually get a contract going. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Check it out. You can just go to Inkshares and click on contest and then click on the Nerdist contest. Like I said, it ends July 15th. 5 days. So that's what my whole life has been about. Has been a combination of writing for the book and doing podcast episodes. Talking about the book.
All the work about books is nothing about writing books.
No, like I try to be dedicated, and I've been trying to put in an hour of writing a night on the book to keep up with it. And I've been pretty good. The last 3 nights, though, I finally just hit a wall, and I was like, I just need to like chill out in front of my TV and try to play Pokemon Go from my couch.
Yep.
Which is really a pathetic way to play Pokemon Go, because there's like one spawn in anywhere near my house, and it only recharges like every hour, and so I just like sit there like constantly like booting it back up. Like, is it there yet? There yet?
Oh. Is it different Pokemon every time?
I have gotten a large enough selection of different Pokemon to feel like I'm doing okay for somebody who hasn't left the house since she started playing Pokemon Go. I did go on a couple of walks though, but I still got the same kinds. So.
Oh, sad face.
Yeah, mostly rats and pigeons at this point. So.
Oh, okay. You know, the desirable Pokemon.
Yes, right.
Yeah. I just got a text message from one of my friends who said that she got a Clefairy at the Phoenix airport.
Nice.
She was really excited.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm impressed that they're like location specific. So like, you know, depending on where you are, you get different types, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting, it's a really innovative game. So are you playing, Rhonda?
This is the first I've heard of it.
You haven't heard of Pokemon Go? Wow.
My head has been in board games for like a week.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool. Well, that's nothing wrong with
that. My mom came to visit, and we played board games the entire time.
Nice.
She's a board game nut, and card games, board games. And then we just visited our friends back where we moved from and played board games all day.
Awesome.
And killed it. We killed it. We saved the world multiple times from dragons, from epidemics, from Cthulhu, everything.
Awesome. That's some good gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. We played board games yesterday. Julie came over and we were playing games. But I was also playing Pokemon at the same time.
Nice.
So.
Is that Castle Ravenloft?
It is Castle Ravenloft. We didn't actually play it. We didn't have enough time to kind of devote to it. But that's a game called Biblios that we were playing on the table.
Awesome.
And then we had Mysterium. We didn't play Mysterium. We played Biblios, and we played Castle Panic.
I love Castle Panic.
Castle Panic is super fun. And
such a good game.
Lords of Waterdeep.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one.
Oh, really?
Never heard of that one.
It's a D&D board game.
That makes me feel stupid now.
Your cred might have slipped just a little bit there.
Just a tiny bit. I've been spending a lot of time with my gaming group playing Sentinels of the Multiverse. That's been my game du jour for like the last year.
Okay.
Year and a half.
Okay. Well, I can't remember when Lords of Waterdeep came out, but we played that yesterday. It's a pretty long. We had 5 people, so it's a pretty involved game when you have 5 people. But you go on quests, and it's a kind of resource management quest-based game. So little RPG stuff, but it's all the lore and all the quests are based on D&D lore.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. I guess there's some reference in it that the money in the D&D universe is square with a hole in the middle. So all the money looks like that.
Okay.
I know.
I'm alright with that.
Kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's fun. Anyway.
I liked it.
Yes, good. I'm glad. It's one of my favorite. It can be a little cutthroat. Not that
Your
I like
favorite kind of game.
a little bit. Yeah,
Nice.
Admit it.
I do.
And Regina won, by the way.
I did by like 2 points.
Right at the end. She
That's shocking.
Out of points.
All right, we should probably move into our topic before we launch too far into games, I guess. So I think we decided to organize this by sort of biography, right?
Yeah, I think everybody kind of leaned toward your personal musical history, which I think probably will work best since Mark's not here anyway, because this will be highly embarrassing, at least for me.
I think it's going to be a little embarrassing for me too. I was putting it together last night, and I was like, people are going to laugh at me for a long time.
It's fantastic.
Dude.
It's just
Julie's
fantastic.
the music one. She's going to save us. She's the one with all the music cred.
Yeah. I have like zero music cred.
It's surprisingly hard for me to do because I just have so much music that I like that.
So it's the exact opposite. You have the opposite problem that I have, where I'm like, literally last night, this is what I'm doing. I'm going through my list on my phone, like, where did that song come from?
Yep.
And where did that one come from? And how long have I known about that song? Because it's an older song, but did I know about it back then? Like, yeah, it was sad.
Yeah. That was kind of me. I was sitting there looking through it, and I'm like, yeah, these are like the same 10 albums I've been listening to for the last 5 years. So, like, what else am I gonna put on here?
Well, it's interesting because I kind of got to thinking about it. I grew up in Nashville, which of course is still Music City, country music capital of the world, and of course most of my relatives were country music fans. Lots of country music in our house. There is some old style country music that I like, but I'm definitely very, very, very eclectic. But I got to thinking about how we grow up with music and what we're influenced by, and a lot of times your musical tastes change when you go to different schools. You're influenced by your friends or what groups you're hanging around with and stuff like that. And so that's how I got to thinking about the idea. So to start it off with, I was thinking of the very first pop song that I can remember liking. And I remember as a kid having, I think my mom had a 45 turntable, and we were playing an old 45, and it happened to be Nancy Sinatra, Boots.
These boots are made for walking?
Yep, it's a good one.
And
a really
I was obsessed with that song. I don't know whether I understood anything about what it was saying, but I had it memorized, and me and my sister would sit around that record player and listen to it over and over and over again. And the other thing that was constantly playing in our house was Elvis Presley. I had an uncle who had every Elvis Presley album ever made. My mom loved Elvis Presley. We had Elvis Presley stuff going on all the time. So I was wondering, can you guys think back? Let's start with maybe the first pop song that you might have remembered from way back, maybe your earliest memory, and then we'll go to middle school, high school, college, and try to hit some of those high points and see what happens.
I just want to insert here that I do have Q&A turned on for the Hangout. We have 2 viewers right now. And I have figured out that I can actually send messages to the people who are watching as they're watching. So I've just let Micah and Andrew both know that we're interested in your feedback too. So I put, what's the first pop song you remember liking? So if you guys want to hit us up, I'll actually be able to look and see what questions you're asking this time. Although I don't know how to make it like automatically show them to me, but I'll just keep clicking. Yeah, I'm seeing Boots, that's Nancy Sinatra for a while now. All right, so I put Dante on the spot last time. I'm going to put Julie on the spot this time. So Jules, what do you got for your first?
Well, first song. I tried to think back, what it could be. I mean, it probably has to be something, probably like ABBA or something that my parents listened to. But the earliest one I can remember was like the first. Okay, this is showing my age. The first 45 records that I bought, and the first 2 I got them at the same time, and I got Stray Cat Strut by the Stray Cats, and Gloria by Laura Branigan. And so those are the first 2 that I remember, loving so much that I had to actually spend some of my allowance on, to buy. I think I was probably about 6 years old,
Oh, man. You had good taste from the beginning.
Yes.
You know what's funny though is that the third record I bought was actually a Motley Crue song.
There you go.
Looks like Kill. So
Oh God.
from the beginning, you know, I've been one of those MP3 generation where I listen to everything kind of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm already blushing thinking about my own selection for this. So I just want to put in here that Micah said, does Offspring count as pop? I'm thinking Free Fly for a White Guy. And
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
Yeah, definitely
That's a
counts.
mainstream song, yeah.
Definitely. Okay, what about you, Dante?
Oh goodness, I hate the fact that I'm actually gonna say this.
Mine's
because
worse,
this also
I promise.
no. Yours cannot possibly be worse than mine. Because I'm a little boy growing up loving this song that is clearly meant for girls. It's "Wannabe" by the Spice Girls.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one, like, I had memorized almost every part of it. There was, like, I watched the music video with my sister, like, 100 times. Yeah, that was the first one that I really remember being super enamored with.
Okay. I think I like you even more now, Dante.
All right. I agree.
Well, thanks.
What a super kid. I love it.
Oh, goodness. I just admitted this to the internet.
You did.
I can see your cheeks frozen from here.
Oh, goodness gracious. Thank goodness that I'm dark, because I am blushing.
All right, let's make Regina blush.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think back, and like I remember listening to the pop music of my parents' generation, so like Neil Diamond and stuff like that. I remember really liking when I was really young, and having very fond memories of a lot of Rodgers and Hammerstein musical music from when I was very young. But the first music I can remember, like going out and seeking out myself, was like the first cassette. I skipped the 45. Sorry, guys. But the first cassette that I bought was Tiffany.
Oh no, I think we're alone now.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Tiffany, I think we're alone now. I bought that cassette, and I remember having this like old, it was like kind of rectangle cassette player that was black with the silver accents, and putting it out in my driveway with my best friend who lived down the street, and we just like danced and like hung out and like played it like over.
I can't contain yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I told you.
Yeah, that's an actual, like, that one actually seems like it has like musical merit to it.
You know, she covered the Beatles, so I was already really familiar with the Beatles because my brothers were a big Beatles fan. My brother Bill was a big Beatles fan, so I was really familiar with them. I can't remember what song it was she did that was theirs. I Want to Hold Your Hand, maybe? Anyway, so I knew that song, but that kind of added a little depth to it for me. So Micah has also added here, I've always wanted to hear "Wannabe" covered by a death metal band like Disturbed.
Oh God, that would be amazing.
I really wish Mark were here for that comment, because he's like our death metal guy. Like, that's his jam, so I'm kind of bummed he's missing that.
Okay, so if we move a little older to where we're maybe our first pop crushes in middle school.
Man. This is...
Welcome to the show, Dante.
This is going to be so embarrassing.
Oh, mine's bad too. I already wrote about it on the site, though, so I already added myself on this one.
Why don't you go, Jules?
Okay. Okay. Well, that would be easy. That would be Duran Duran.
Yes!
Good choice. Solid choice. I can back you on that one.
Completely enamored with John Taylor in particular. Thought he was the hottest man ever.
Simon Le Bon, he was going to be mine.
And I even had the, the full album record, and it had like, like you could, it was almost like a book. You can open it up, and it had like big picture pages on the inside and stuff. Oh God, yeah. So Duran Duran, definitely big crush. Michael Jackson was the
Oh
other.
yeah, well, I didn't even put Michael Jackson on my list, and he totally belonged there. Like I had the posters and the albums.
Wow.
I totally had the preppy poster of him on my wall. He's wearing like this lemon yellow sweater vest with a bow tie.
Oh, I have that same picture. That same poster. Curly hair. Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
That's a famous picture.
It was a famous picture. It was the album before. It was a cover for the album before Thriller.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called. But
Off the wall, maybe?
no, Off the Wall had a wall or had a wall on it.
And a brick wall, yeah, it did. Yeah.
It did. I'm so old. It's hard to remember this stuff, guys.
Jules, I used to tell people that the Duran Duran video Wild Thing was porn for women, and if it had any nudity in it, it would have just made it better.
Oh, Wild Boys.
Wild Boys, yes.
Yeah,
Wild Boys.
Yep, that was the album I had.
Nice.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Regina. If you want to go with the girl crush, then it was Madonna. Yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah. I love Madonna too. Okay, so my first musical crush was Julian Lennon.
Oh.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that? Of course you don't know who that is. Like
Julian Lennon?
Julian Lennon. You're laughing at me.
He had like one song.
He did have like one song. Actually, he had like two, kind of. Like he had a second released hit or whatever. But yeah, I saw him in concert and everything. Like that was my first concert.
Awesome.
I'm hearing the song in my head, but I can't remember what it's called.
Violet or something like that.
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different one then. Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. There were a couple he did actually. So it's John Lennon's son. Julian Lennon was his first, the boy he had with his first wife. And I literally, like, I wrote a post about it too a while back, talking about actually when celebrities die and kind of the impact that celebrity have on our lives. But I really think partially I really had a crush on John Lennon and couldn't really manifest that like I could have had I been, a generation earlier. So so it manifested in Julian Lennon. It didn't last very long because his stardom didn't really last very long. But I still hear, again, I had the cassette for that one that I played over and over again. I think by the time I had that, I actually had a Walkman. And I used to listen to it like in my bedroom when I was being a moody pre-teenager. Oh yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
All right, Dante.
My first musical crush. This is weird. So it just really falls into that era. I was born in the '80s. I came to be in the '90s. So that was the age of Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. And
that makes total sense, though.
It does. Yeah.
I mean, because they were all over the screen, and they're doing their dancing thing. I'm sitting there like, oh, this is pretty cool. I like this.
Yeah.
And then to a lesser extent, Mandy Moore, who is no longer a musician anymore. She's basically an actress now. And I had never admitted any of this to my friends because I didn't like her music. I just thought that she was pretty. Was Jewel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she is. Yeah, definitely very, very pretty. And yeah, but did have
She's
that
very
kind
talented too.
She's very talented.
Oh,
yeah.
extremely talented. I like her music more now that I'm older than I did back then.
Right.
I've got Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera on my playlist.
Nice.
Yep.
Yep.
I
have Britney. I don't think I have Christina, but I can see like for the dancing and kind of. I don't think. I wasn't as affected by music videos, because we didn't have cable, so I only saw MTV and VH1 when I was at other people's houses.
Okay.
I missed out on that whole generation of coming up with the videos to go along with the music. It was
sure,
fun.
yeah.
for us. And I want to add, so Micah has shared his crush is Gwen Stefani.
Oh, good crush.
I love
That's
that
a really
crush.
good one.
I love her too.
She's great.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so for me, now this is really going to date me because listening to my mom's Nancy Sinatra album is not dating me, but
Dating your mom.
the posters I had on my walls as
Oh, I know at least one of them.
yeah, a young blossoming girl was Donny Osmond.
Okay.
Had every Donny Osmond album,
Hey.
the wall to wall. Rooms were purple, sheets were purple, walls were purple, everything purple. And Davy Jones from the Monkees.
Davy Jones. See, that's what I was going to say, Davy Jones. I knew Davy Jones because I think we talked about it before with the same article when I was talking about celebrity, the feeling and stuff about when we lose celebrities. Yeah.
It was when he passed was the first time I started realizing my own mortality. Because it's like, there goes my childhood. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember him from the Brady Bunch.
No, oh really?
Yeah, he had just a one episode thing on the Brady Bunch, but Marsha had a crush on him and was trying to get him to come to a dance. I don't know, some dumb thing like that. But I just remember that episode of the Brady Bunch with him in it. I watched the Monkees too, but that for whatever reason that storyline sunk deeper into my consciousness, I guess.
Have I told the story on here before about my brother getting Davy Jones's autograph?
I don't think so.
That's got to be the best brother story ever. I mean, he's going to get a special reward because he knew I loved Davy Jones. And he's a young teen. I mean, he's 14, 15, 16, something like that. And heard Davy Jones was going to be in a mall signing his autobiography. Now, I lived in Texas. This was in Tennessee. He went down there with all of these screaming girls and got his autograph for me. He told him, he said, "It's my sister's birthday. I'm getting this for you." So Davy Jones wrote in the book, "Happy Birthday, Rhonda."
Oh, my God.
Very nice.
Isn't that the sweetest brother story
That
ever?
is the sweetest brother story. You win.
Yeah. Sweet brother story.
I like it.
Yeah. So things that dates me. There you go. I saw the Osmonds in concert more than
once.
Oh yeah.
You cut out
at least twice.
At least one.
Oh yeah. I saw him twice. Donny Osmond with the sparkling cape with the giant D on the back.
Oh goodness gracious.
Him and Marie singing together. We watched the Donny and Marie show. Yeah. Definitely.
So that's how they all roll out there in Salt Lake City.
Yep. So then, sort of transitioning. If you guys have got any particular groups or music in between any of these, but if we go past middle school and we had junior high. I don't know whether you guys had junior high school or not, but we went from middle school. We went to junior high. And then we went to high school. And in junior high is when I actually started running into people who were really into music. And there was just fantastic music in the 70s, and I was just completely unaware of it, of anything about it or what it was like. And I kept hearing all of these bands from my other friends, and I was like, man, I wish I was into music. So for me, I'm moving right kind of into the junior high years. So what would that be like for you, Regina? Did you guys have junior high?
We did have junior high. I'm trying to think of. I didn't write any junior high down, so I think I was.
Well, anytime between middle school and high school, whatever that transition was.
That the big one for me in that era was Huey Lewis and the News. Yeah.
Nice.
That was really
Power of Love.
I think right at the end of 6th grade, Back to the Future came out for me, and then junior high was 7th grade. So all of like the Huey Lewis and the News music kicked in about then.
Yeah.
And that was that was a big shift because that was kind of, kind of following in different footsteps a little bit with that music. Yeah. And still, when I got married, I actually walked to the Power of Love down the aisle when I made my entrance. So
that's awesome.
That's great.
I love that. I love that song. So.
What about you, Jules? What about that time period?
And that was the most awesome wedding ever, by the way.
It was the most awesome wedding ever. Thank you. Not that I want to toot my own horn. Yeah, we did play board games all night long, so.
Well, for me, I didn't have junior high. I mean, middle school was 6th through 8th grade, but that's when I got into Def Leppard.
Oh yeah.
And Depeche Mode. And Susie and the Banshees. But then I like cheesy pop stuff too, like Paula Abdul.
Okay.
Thank you, Jules, for coming down to our level.
I really did. In fact, I had a thing. He had I think maybe one album. Joey Lawrence, the actor. Yeah, he had a pop album.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
It was so cheesy.
Wow, I had no idea.
I liked him too. I liked it all. But yeah, I remember those were the main three of that.
Okay.
All right, Dante.
All right, it's me now.
Yeah.
All right, so I also didn't have junior high, 6, 7, 8, and then went right to high school. I did. Let's see. I was raised on a lot of country music because it was the one thing that was deemed safe for all of the kids and all the family to listen to at the same time because there wasn't any overlying themes of sex or violence or bad words or nothing like that. So I was really into Garth Brooks for a long time. That he has this double live album that I still listen to this day because it's an amazing album. I've seen him in concert for the first time last year. It was an incredible show. So that was Colin Baton Rouge and Two of a Kind, working on a Full House, Thunder Rolls, all of his hits. That was me throughout middle school. And then once I got to high school, I decided I didn't want to listen to country music anymore because I had had enough of it. So I decided to go into what could quite possibly be the opposite of country music, which was heavy metal. And I am way too embarrassed about the bands that I was listening to mention them on air. I'm entirely serious. Oh, entirely serious.
You started with Tiffany and
that wannabe.
Spice Girls.
No, all right, I'll cop up to because I also did a little bit of pop punk music. So I started listening to Blink-182. I'm still a big fan of Blink-182 to this day. They're coming to the Moda Center in Portland, and I'm gonna have tickets. And I don't care what anybody else thinks. I still like them. So that Damn It, What's My Age Again. Those are on 2 separate albums, but whatever. That was stuff that I was really listening to, and I was also singing in a lot of choirs and people that actually had good musical taste. And they introduced me to the New York phenom known to the world as Billy Joel. So I was listening to all of his greatest hits on repeat. So I had an extremely wide variety of stuff that I was listening to, and then I capped it all off with one of my very good friends. I'm still good friends with them. Introduced me to the musical genius known to the world as Weird Al Yankovic, and I've seen him in concert 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. My friend Jeff has seen him 9 times in concert.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sees him on every single tour, every single album. I'm still a giant Weird Al fan today. One of my friend's favorite games to play with me is how many songs has Dante not heard, but he knows the Weird Al parody. The answer is a lot.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Did you see him on Gallivant?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'm ashamed to have watched that show. It was terrible.
Oh, don't. I
Oh,
love
it
that
was
show.
awesome.
Oh
I
God,
love
it
it.
was.
Fantastic. I
I
love
thought
that
it,
show.
like I laughed at how cheesy it was.
Oh, it was, but that was
But
what was
they
so
knew
beautiful.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did. I enjoyed watching him. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm done. One season. I'm over. Over with that.
Uh-uh.
But yeah, one of the songs that we mentioned previously here. I think we're alone now. I think I've listened to that song maybe once or twice. I think I'm a clone now. I've listened to that song like 20 times.
I didn't even know there was a parody of it.
There is. I can send it to you. I have it.
He's brilliant.
Weird Al is a
Yeah.
national treasure.
Yes.
He's gonna be one of those that like when he dies, I'm gonna sit there like that's my childhood right there.
Wow.
That's awesome. Micah has chimed in to say he didn't have junior high, but he should note all the picks that he's mentioned were pretty much in high school because he didn't really start listening to music until 10th grade, until about 10th grade.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and I can kind of see that because I think that that's what junior high kind of was for me. Late elementary and junior high, all that. Tiffany and all that, Julian Lennon stuff all kind of started in junior high. So
Yeah.
I can see that.
Oh, by the way, Regina, that song is "Too Late for Goodbyes."
Too Late for Goodbyes. That's the one. Yes. Too Late for Goodbyes. Yeah, now it's going to be stuck in my head. I posted all those. On Facebook a while back because I like went through this like nostalgia thing where I found one of them and then all of a sudden I was just like, that whole music can take you right back to where you were. I was like, oh wow, this is so cringeworthy.
Yeah. Well, for me in junior high, like I said, it was the 70s, and the music was just fantastic. And I remember hearing the kids talking about different bands. I didn't know where they listened to this music or anything else, but for Christmas, I insisted with my mother, I have to have an album by these bands. I didn't know anything about them. But I got a Foghat album, Steve Miller Band, and the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I played Steve Miller Band and the Eagles to death. I'm so happy and proud to have had those albums. They Hotel California and Book of Dreams, and that was exciting. Foghat, it turned out I didn't like very much at all, but they were not rock. They definitely were not glam rock or hair rock. They were harder.
Yeah, a little
harder
more
music.
gritty.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, and I moved definitely much more into pop, more into high school. Did you guys cover your high school yet?
No.
Yeah,
No.
that was like 6th grade through high school.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Dante segued us really well then.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Jules, what about high school for you? I mean, this is like where music was vital to a teenager's life.
Vital to your identity, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What you lived for.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, well, this is a list here.
She's like, let me pull out my encyclopedia of music from high school.
So high school, I remember that's when I first started buying CDs. Like up until then, I bought a few like record 45s and cassette singles for a while, but then I got CDs, and so I remember them more by albums. So so like Depeche Mode Violator album, that was a big one for me. That one had like Enjoy the Silence and Personal Jesus, and that's also when Chicago and Journey were the greatest hits albums.
Oh, I love Chicago.
And so
it wasn't like Chicago 2, nothing like that, right?
Yeah. What's that?
What was that around the time the Chicago 2 came out?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm only asking.
Is their greatest hits?
Okay, their greatest hits album, fine.
Yeah. So Chicago and Journey, both of their greatest hits albums, I listened to death.
Okay.
course, U2, big
Mhm.
U2, and then I got into Kenny Loggins. I mean,
Oh,
Yeah.
a
you
huge
went into
Kenny
the danger
Loggins.
zone.
Yes.
That is
I,
like one of two Kenny Loggins songs that I know.
good ones.
And I just learned that was a Kenny Loggins song like last week. I had no
Just in
idea.
time for the hangout.
Pretty much. I was doing my research.
But yeah, I like more of his classic stuff. Like, well, even like the Loggins and Messina. But in high school too, he came out with an album called Leap of Faith, which was much different than all of his other stuff. His other stuff is a little more folk rock, and this one was a little more sentimental, and so kind of more smooth. I don't know, relaxing, but it's a really, really great album. I recommend it. And then, of course, Nirvana's Nevermind came out.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay. Yep.
And so that was huge because obviously I hear in Washington, living 3 hours south from Seattle, where the grunge kind of all began, that they were especially huge here. Um, and Madonna's Immaculate Collection album came out. And so that had her hits as well as, like Vogue was big. That song was big. And then I'm also, from being, in band and taking piano and stuff all my life, was into um, movie soundtracks,
Oh.
scores. So the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves one was a big one for me in high school.
Oh, with oh God, what was the hit song from that?
Everything I do it for you, the
Yeah,
Bryan Adams.
Brian
Yeah.
Adams.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Brian
the
Adams.
score music, the actual instrumental music, it had that song
Mhm.
on it. But yeah,
Yep.
it's what I liked. And there's this. He has passed away now, but there's this famous conductor, Eric Kunzel, and he was the conductor with the Cincinnati Pops for years and years.
Okay.
And they came out like over the last 20 years with tons of different CDs, albums, and stuff. But a lot of them they did were different movies collections. And so he had one at that point called Star Treks, and it was like most of the like Spielberg and Lucas movies. So like
Hmm.
Superman and Star Wars and Star Trek and E.T. and
Jurassic Park.
yeah, well, it was too early for that one, but it was
Darn.
Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Indiana, yeah. So I was into that kind of stuff too, not just the pop stuff.
Nice.
Okay,
Cool.
I'm gonna stop now.
Okay.
Great time for music. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought about that too when I was putting my. I had a lot of the same things in high school. I had U2, Huey Lewis, Till Tuesday. I was big into Till Tuesday.
oh yeah.
Aha.
Uh-huh.
But then, I graduated in the very early 90s from high school, and I have a very powerful memory of dancing to Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers
Ah, yeah, that's a good one.
at our grad celebration, our grad night
Mhm.
celebration. But that one is like, but that was the break. Like that wasn't really high school for me. That music really became more about college. So that was right at that that pull between the two of them.
Yeah.
And the other like I did a lot of choir and stuff in high school, so I did a lot of show tunes. There's a lot of show tune music that I was listening to, the shows that we were in, and other shows that we just like appreciated the music for, like Into the Woods and all that kind of stuff. I listened to a lot of that. But we had this tradition. So the first play that I was in high school, I was a sophomore, and a movie you guys might remember called Beetlejuice had come out a couple years before that. And we had the soundtrack for Beetlejuice. Does anybody remember the soundtrack for Beetlejuice?
Oh yeah,
I remember Alec Baldwin in
I
Beetlejuice.
have some of it on a different album. Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, and it's all, well, there was Day-O by Harry Belafonte was on there.
Mhm.
And that was our, like, warm-up, like, prep to perform song.
Cool.
and so that was like marked for high school for me, even though it has no like generational tie to that generation. But every time I hear that, I am smack right back in high school every time that song comes on.
Nice.
To the point where we were putting together a reunion, and that was like one of the songs that like had to make sure to make it to our playlist for a reunion, even though it has no real sort of tie to the era. But anytime I hear that, I am right back in our little theater dressing room, you know, getting ready to go on and perform. So, yeah, it'd be funny. What about you, Rhonda? Did you talk about high school? No, you were talking about junior high, right? Okay.
No, high school is interesting.
Oh, good. I like this. Do we get to, is there going to be some blushing happening?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, high school was at the very beginning was Barry Manilow, Olivia Newton-John, and then toward the end Rick Springfield.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was all pop. It was all yeah. Let's get physical.
Oh God, Olivia in her sweat headband.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Goodness gracious. I knew a guy in college. One of my first memories of this man in college was seeing him on Halloween dressed up as Olivia Newton-John from the physical video. Not even kidding.
Oh,
his name was John Cruz. He was the house president for my dormitory, and he rocked it. It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah,
that was my first introduction to Olivia Newton-John outside of the Grease movie.
Yeah. Oh, I played that album to death. I just played it to death. And I don't know whether we had one or two Barry Manilow albums. Well, we played those quite a bit, too. And then when Rick Springfield came along, it just crushed everything. There was absolutely nothing but Rick Springfield. And,
is there really anything besides Rick Springfield?
No.
Still.
Not really.
Oh, nobody mentioned Rick Astley. Didn't he like great?
We have just Rick-rolled this podcast now.
I know. That was the whole reason why I threw
Never
that.
give you up, never let you down. Oh.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yep.
So whatever music was to us in high school, I mean, that just continued and was accentuated in college, because once you got to college, there was that moment where, wow, I can listen to anything I want to now.
Yep.
You've got this freedom to all of a sudden explore music from so many different people, because you've got the crazy roommates, people, or something like that. So did musical tastes change very much in college, or were you influenced by any particular people that you hung around with in college?
Yup. All of the above. All of the above, because I mentioned that I was listening to really crappy metal, and that all went away during college, because everybody was sitting there like, no, this is really, really crappy music. You never need to listen to this again. I was really big into the theater scene at college, and it was, oh goodness, this is almost like an embarrassing story, but it's not really, because I absolutely love this album. I didn't even know what I was auditioning for, because I just wanted to be part of the theater scene, and I auditioned for this movie that you may have heard of called The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah. And I was in the production for 4 years. I directed it for 2, my junior and senior years. I helped direct it and then took the full-on editorial, or the directorial chair. And yeah, that was a big album for me personally, because it introduced me to a lot of the people that I ended up just hanging out with in college, and people that I still talk to today. And it kind of like opened my eyes to like, holy crap, like there is way more to the world than I ever knew. Because I'm not going to say that I had a very sheltered childhood, but it was kind of like directed towards like wholesome stuff, and Rocky Horror is definitely the opposite of wholesome entertainment. um, but yeah,
All
I mean,
right,
like,
who did you play?
I played Eddie, Dr. Scott, and I played, oh goodness, who was the other one that I played? I played, goodness gracious, Brad. I subbed in for Janet one night. I played Riff Raff. I subbed in for Magenta the other night. Yeah, I think the only person that I didn't do was the criminologist.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, so that's me. Like that just opened my eyes to the whole, like, if I feel like if there's any one album that just personifies like you, like opening your eyes, like the metaphor of opening your eyes and just seeing like the world beyond your your hometown. It was me, innocent little, still a practicing Catholic back then, listening to the Rocky Horror Picture Show for the first time. And then the other one that really just, I guess, influenced me like just to my core was the soundtrack to Rent, because that was the big musical back then. That was the Hamilton of the late '90s. And like in every, like, I had the two disc CDs, and that I just actually recently rebought because I lost it in moving to Portland. But that's okay. I have it again now, so it's fine. So that was a show that I've seen three times on stage, and if I could show you a screenshot, I would, of my iTunes playlist back then, and just all the play counts of every single time that I listened to every single song on that soundtrack. Oh, wow. It must have been in the high 90s, low hundreds. It was from freshman year of college all the way to the time I graduated. I was listening to that almost nonstop. I think there was a point of like 6 months where I was listening to it at least once a day. Because it resonated that much to me. Like, I don't have AIDS or anything, but because that's what the entire show is about. But just all the messages of self-acceptance and self-acceptance and living for today and following your dreams and all the other fun, great stuff that it's all about. There's a part where they have a reprise of the song "I'll Cover You" if you know the soundtrack. Is after one of the principal characters died. Two characters had gotten together with this song, and then one of them died, and they sang it at his funeral. To this day, I can't listen to it without crying. It's it's terrible.
It's not terrible. That signifies, and it shows exactly how powerful music can be. That it's not just specific to the theme or idea that the musical was necessarily trying to communicate, but that it had that broader impact, and that it can still bring that kind of emotion. Like, that's what I was kind of trying to say with the whole thing about like Deo with high school. Like, I still have all those great feelings of being in that show and being around what are still some of my best friends. Like, the people I met during that show, I'm still friends with.
Absolutely.
So it really does have that, and that's the music becomes even less significant sometimes at that point than the experience you had of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I just listened to it for the first time in God knows how long. I think just like 2 weeks ago, and it brought me right back to my dormitory. It was a wonderful experience. But yeah, those were the two big ones that I was listening to. I listened to a lot of show tunes because, again, I was just really into theater back then. So the last 5 years was another big one. The Phantom of the Opera, the Grease soundtrack, 1776. I loved that one. And then, of course, because it's just a staple of American college life, a cappella groups. That's the other second favorite game that my friends like to play with me is how many songs has Dante not heard, but he's heard a cappella covers of them. No, it was so that was me in college. Like, I didn't really listen to a lot of stuff on the radio because I was too busy listening to these albums for these shows that I wanted to be in and I wanted to watch. That was my college experience.
That's awesome.
It's passionate.
Yeah.
Music is so intense.
It is. It really does bring out that depth of connection.
Yeah, this got a little bit more real than I was expecting.
That's kind of how these things go. We think, oh,
Yeah.
we're going to have this little lighthearted chat, and then the next thing we know, we're talking about all this deep stuff. It's pretty awesome. I got to say, I love it.
What about you, Jules?
Let's see. Well, the big one for me in college was the Dave Matthews Band.
Okay.
And still a big one for you.
Yes. Dave, I don't know what's happened like over the last 10 years, but the Dave Matthews Band is one of those, like, when you tell people that, they all groan.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what like this anti-Dave movement has been in the last 10 years, but
I thought that was Nickelback.
well, Nickelback, that's a groan for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
But
can I admit that I had to hold back a groan when he said Dave Matthews?
I told you.
All right.
Like,
Because all right, so
the last 10 years, all grown.
no, yeah, so Dave Matthews Band was really big when I was in high school, and I did not care for their music. It wasn't that I hated their music. It just wasn't my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, I'm completely co-opting your story, but this is really important for me to say. But everybody in high school was entirely just like making fun of me or getting down on me, and just like, why aren't you part of like the Dave Matthews cults or whatever? Because I don't want you to shove these albums down my throat. So I have such a visceral reaction to Dave Matthews of just all of these people saying like, you should love Dave Matthews because he's the next John Lennon or whatever. I'm like, nope. Like, so that has entirely turned me off of Dave Matthews for the rest of my life.
That helps me explain where maybe some of the groans come from.
That could be that sense of like it was so popular that everybody had to like it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. See, and I got into them just as they were starting to get popular. I first saw them live here in Portland, and it was a festival, a touring festival at the time called Horde Fest, and actually the headliner at that time was Blues Traveler. So Dave, the DMB wasn't as big then, so they were part of it, but they weren't the headliner. And it was an amazing concert, and it was Blues Traveler, Dave Matthews, and Lenny Kravitz. And it was just an amazing concert, but that's when I fell in love with DMB. That just seeing him live was amazing, and I've seen him 5 times now live in different places, and still love them to death. I love their earlier stuff better, but yeah,
isn't that the story with everybody?
Yeah. And then I got more in college, like into some of the other kind of grunge and rock, so like Smashing Pumpkins, Pearl Jam, Live, locally, Green Day, Offspring, Squirrel Nut Zippers, I got into them. The Cure, I mean, I had liked The Cure, but I really kind of fell for The Cure in college, really, bought their albums and listened to them a lot. And, of course, Sarah McLachlan. Her Servicing album was just like, I mean, I think I've listened to that 1,000 times, especially, when you're studying in college. It was like a perfect studying album. And I actually ended up performing one of her songs for like a guitar final thing I had to do as a music major. So that album was really big for me, really meaningful for me. And then because I was, a music student, I was still into like movie stuff, and I got into like Mozart's Requiem and Carmen and Tchaikovsky and stuff like that too. So it's a little bit of everything. But yeah, that Dave Matthews and Sarah McLachlan are probably the 2 big ones for me.
Cool.
Gina?
Oh, okay. So college, kind of the Red Hot Chili Peppers was part of that. Moving into
that's right.
into college for me. So Nirvana all came in that, Green Day, REM, the Cranberries.
Fantastic.
Yes, I loved the Cranberries. That was another CD that I had, and another kind of offshoot from the 80s, Harry Connick Jr.
Oh yes.
Big into Harry Connick Jr. in college. I went actually seen him live 3 times. Most amazing piano player ever that I've ever seen live. I can say, I don't know, ever in terms of that. I had a lot of Disney soundtracks that I listened to.
There you go.
because that was The Lion King and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, that whole era, kind of the resurgence of Disney, the first of the three, I guess, really resurgences of Disney was at that time. What I was thinking about and remembered with this was I just found, when I was cleaning out my garage about 2 or 3 months ago, I came across a portable CD case that I had that was, I didn't get a CD player until I moved into the dorm, and I didn't move into the dorm until after I finished my time at my community college. So I was essentially a junior in college before I had a CD player. And so I had gotten a whole bunch of CDs all at once, and then everybody's like, oh, people steal things in the dorm, so you want to make sure you write your name on everything. So I pulled out this set of CDs, right? And started pulling the CDs out, and all of them were my college CDs.
Nice.
And they all had my name in red
Oh,
like,
nice.
marker, like on the CD and on like the booklet that was in the CD. So it was like, that made it really easy for me to think about what was college music.
Yeah.
Nice.
I could just think about what had my name on it in red pen. So that was that one.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty much like getting into a little bit less pop, a little bit more grunge, a little bit more edgy music, I think happened for me in that era. So yeah. What about you, Rhonda? So for college?
The major, the big artist that was just defined everything for me in college was Prince.
Prince. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Everything.
I can see that. Yeah.
It didn't matter what album he put out, I was in line and got his stuff, and I just played it obsessively over and over and over again. And of course, this is the beginning of MTV and the 80s music, and it was just a plethora of fantastic music. And I was a huge Duran Duran fan. Adam Ant, Eurythmics. There was so much coming out. It was just great. We watched MTV obsessively. It was nonstop. Yeah. But oh my God, Prince had everything.
I remember my Prince memory is of my brother getting the Laserdisc.
Oh man, Laserdisc.
Laserdisc of Purple Rain from the rental, because you could go rent Laserdiscs.
Yeah.
And he had rented Herbie the Love Bug.
Okay.
I was a kid. I was really young, and he had rented Purple Rain, but he didn't want me to watch Purple Rain.
No.
So of course, what's the first thing I did when he was gone?
Watch Purple Rain.
Was watch Purple Rain. Yeah. So that's one of my like foundational like Prince memories. Is
very nice.
Yeah. Going in and stealing that, or not stealing it, like sneaking it so I could watch it. I mean, he just left it there, but I seemed like a trustworthy kid. They never caught on to the fact that I always cheated in Monopoly, like ever.
Oh, really? Were you always the banker?
Of course. Yes, I was. And well, I have to for some context, my brothers are significantly older than me. So the youngest of my brothers is 17 years older than me. Although I only remember playing games with Bill and my brother Mike. But the two, they just, nobody ever suspected that I was, here, their sweet, innocent little sister who's so much younger than them.
Who's just like taking $1,000 bills.
Like every time I gave myself $100, there was an extra 100 in there, and
nice.
They might have known and never said anything, but I really don't think that they caught on to the fact that I was really like,
Man. They're gonna watch this and they're just gonna get retroactively pissed off at you now.
They might actually.
Yeah, I don't believe your brothers would let you get away with that.
I don't think they would either, because
No.
that was not like we're pretty heavy like gaming family. Like I swear I learned how to do like math, learning how to play 21, blackjack. So
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Pretty serious about our games where I come from. So I don't think that they knew. Anyway.
Since the music is kind of already revealing, well, it's revealing my age anyway. About how long ago? When did you guys graduate college?
I'm going to politely decline to answer that question.
I graduated from college in 1998. So.
Yeah, 98.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me, Dante.
What? Oh, okay. Listen, I don't want to make y'all feel old. I graduated in 2007.
Okay.
Oh, now I get it. You don't want us to make us feel old.
Yeah.
Sorry. Too late.
Rhonda was talking about the Osmonds. I think we got it.
I was talking about Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm dated at this
See,
point.
if we would have had Isabella, you wouldn't have felt so...
Yeah.
See, yeah, I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, you guys would have been in the same generation, so...
Yeah. Okay, so I was just trying to get an idea of how many decades of music we were covering. Right. And we got a pretty good mix. Unfortunately, there's a huge gap between me and you. But I graduated college in '86, so we've got like 10 years there. It's not
13.
We've got to find somebody. Quit doing the math. Damn, Dante.
Damn it, me.
that fake gentlemanliness earlier.
Yeah. It's
13.
Sorry.
So I still have a lot of decades of music that I went through. Now, Did you guys see a shift in the change to the music? Because you go from this carefree lifestyle and this partying lifestyle, and then all of a sudden they kick you out the door, and it's like, here, go have a life, pay your bills, find your place to live, get a job, and you're like, ah! Did music take a back seat? Did it just change? Did you find new social groups because of music?
For me, it changed for me because of my partner at the time, and he was huge into music, but very generational music. Like, he was never into like new music that was coming out. He was only ever into like the 4 or 5 artists that he was really into, and so I got kind of caught in that whirlwind, and so I missed a huge chunk of like 90s and early 2000 music. Like, I just missed it all because there was nothing.
Okay. It was nothing there.
And that's kind of like, I kind of went back to kind of see like, well, what should I check out, and I really didn't. I kind of missed too much. But it was at that point that that I had actually found like Sarah McLachlan, and really kind of got more into YouTube and or not YouTube, YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. Wow. Okay. Really, Regina. Let's have some losing your mind here. Because I was sort of inundated with his favorites were, and I love James Taylor. I saw James Taylor live quite a few times in that. But definitely my ability to go see shows went down when I became an independent adult. I also didn't stay out of the student lifestyle for very long. I was out of I started grad school 2 years after I graduated from college. So it was like 98 to 2000. I was kind of on my own trying to pay my student loans, and then I went back to school and took on a whole bunch more student loans to get my master's degree.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of, in that time, I was, like you said, I had less money, and so I wasn't able to kind of do all that kind of stuff. I'd also moved to New York in '98, so I'm spending almost all my saved up money to fly home and see my family. So
yeah,
that limited what I could kind of do. I also didn't live anywhere in New York I could easily get to concerts. I'd have to go into the city or into Connecticut actually to get to some of the bigger venues where you could see. And I don't think I went to anything. I went to a few Broadway shows at that time, but those were like special event things. So
yeah. What about you, Jules? Did it change much, or did it expand whenever you were on your own?
Yeah. Well, it expanded because that's when, during the time when I started going to a lot more live concerts with friends and such. So, um, uh, you know, it was like actually experiencing music, really, besides performing, because as a music student, you're always performing, and it was
Yeah.
awesome to go experience, somebody else performing, and so yeah, a lot more concert going there. But right out of college is when I actually started getting. I was kind of forced to get into like the pop scene because when I first moved back home, I was gonna take I didn't go into the workforce right away because I still had like one class to do. I was gonna take in the fall.
Uh-huh.
So I took it to my first job out of college was a skate world DJ.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That's awesome.
That sounds
I didn't
amazing.
even know this. I did not know this. I did not know this.
So you were a DJ on roller skates?
I
Is that
was,
it?
Oh my god.
Incredible.
and that was when you mentioned Wannabe. That brought back the memories because that was the time that I was a skate world DJ. So it was all about like the Spice Girls and the Backstreet Boys
Oh, man.
and that whole plot scene. And then right after that, for a couple of years, I was working with kids in the before and after school parks and rec programs, and doing like activities and stuff. And so because I was so into music, we were always having to plan games and stuff for the kids. And I found, discovered that the kids love music too. So I would drag my mom's. It's like this big karaoke machine.
Mhm.
Like this big
Nice.
box with a speaker and so I would drag that, and so then I had to go out and buy like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and stuff like that, and so that they could do the karaoke with it. And so now when I get teased when I listen to it and stuff, especially like when I'm video gaming online with and I am known to randomly start, hit the push to talk button and sing.
There you go.
So when I get teased about that, I'm not embarrassed about it all because that was a really awesome, fun time. Of these kids just loved it. They just they loved me coming and showing up with that music. So
Yeah.
I don't have any regrets being a Backstreet Boy fan.
That's awesome.
Well, for someone who spent every Friday night of her junior high school year at the roller rink, I thank you.
Oh, roller rinks just make me so happy. Sorry,
The big song then was "The Stroke" by Billy Squier.
Okay.
Yep, everybody went nuts. Yes, none of you know it. I know that.
Oh, sorry. I feel bad. I like want to go look it up.
It's a great song. What about you, Dante? Did music change much for you after college?
Entirely, actually.
Wow.
Entirely. Yeah, I've run the gamut. I kind of feel. So I graduated college in 2007. I immediately went back home, and then about a year and a half later, I went to grad school, while also paying off my undergraduate loans and paying for graduate school out of my own pocket. So I was basically living on one paycheck a month, which sucked. It was terrible. There were some times where sometimes I had to choose between, like buying books for classes or eating, and that was great. So I didn't have a lot of money, as anybody really has a lot of money outside of college. And this was about the time that I started getting really frustrated with music, because I was listening to the radio and it didn't seem like there was anything. There was anything there for me, because Garth Brooks had gone into retirement. Billy Joel hadn't made music in God knows how long. He was just he's just touring on all of his old stuff. Weird Al hadn't made a new album, and when he did make a new album, it sucked. It was like the one album of his that I absolutely hated because it was all of this, late 2000s, early 2010s stuff that I was sitting there like, okay, this was shitty music when I. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. Am I not supposed to say that on air? Okay. It was garbage music when I listened to it the first time, and I didn't like the fact. I didn't like it any better when he was making fun of it. I was like, all right, well, there's really nothing for me here, and the radio. I was just really frustrated with that because there was A, nothing on, and B, I was listening to commercials every 5 seconds, and so I just one day decided, what, I'm just going to turn off the radio because I got this wonderful invention called an iPod, and I realized that you could download podcasts onto those. So I spent a lot of my post-college years and graduate school years just listening to podcasts for sports teams that I follow, for news, for tech, for everything. I think between 2007 and 2014, I listened to nearly zero new music. It was just a black hole of anything. Honestly, I was perfectly fine with it because that was around the time that Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, all these Disney Channel artists start coming up, and it's not these artists are not made for people my age. They were made for people 10 years younger than I am. So okay, it's not me. And I've listened to a couple of songs and I said, this is garbage. I'm never listening to this again. So whatever. Radio, we're done. Let's move on. Audiobooks became my friend in those years.
Yeah, and that's interesting that, music is that important that you just don't listen to it casually. Mm-hmm. It's personal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It has to mean something to me at this point. If it doesn't mean something to me or resonate with me, or if at least I can't listen to an album and say, gee, this is just a fun album to listen to, even though it's just objectively stupid music, what's the point? You're wasting a half an hour of my time that I could be listening to another book. I've still got to get through all the Game of Thrones books, and those are 1,000,000 hours long a piece.
All right, so I'm going to chase a rabbit. I usually don't do this. What sports teams did you follow?
Oh, goodness gracious. People are going to laugh at me for this one. So the New Orleans Saints are my football team.
Never mind.
Move on.
So the New Orleans Saints, because
I didn't think it would be as bad as Seattle Seahawks, but it is.
No, it's not. It's certainly not the Seahawks. Listen, I could give or take the Sea Chickens. My mother absolutely loves them. I have no qualms with them. But here's the thing. I'm literally a card-carrying Eagle Scout, so the fleur-de-lis means a great deal to me as a symbol. So the fact that it's on their football helmets, it's on their pants, everything, it means a lot to me. I have a personal connection with it, so I have a personal connection with the team. And then as far as hometown teams are concerned, the New York Giants, and because nobody likes the New Jersey Jets, and the New York Rangers are my hockey team.
Okay.
But if it makes you feel any better, my sister's fiance is from Kentucky, went to school at UT, though, and he is a giant Tennessee Titans fan, Nashville Predators fan, and the Volunteers are, primo top number one.
Yep. And
so
hats off to being an
Eagle
team? Scout, by the way.
Volunteers. Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. No, Dallas.
Dallas,
Cowboys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Dallas.
Is anybody else getting any weird feedback?
Yeah, I hear.
Of other people talking?
Yeah, that's happened before, hadn't it? It's pretty hilarious. It's
Yeah.
like sticky radios or something.
I've had it happen when I've pulled the YouTube page up, and if you don't, because you can look at the YouTube page, I do that sometimes just to see, to make sure everything looks right, and if you don't mute it, that's what I think we're hearing.
Okay.
you hear
I
me?
have it muted.
Well, I don't see anything anymore.
Julie?
Yeah?
Okay, you're still there. Okay.
Okay, so we did Regina's post-college, we did everybody's post-college, okay.
Yep.
For me, I went to an Oingo Boingo concert.
Nice.
They were amazing.
Oh, God. Danny Elfman.
Oh my God, they were amazing.
Yep. So yeah, it absolutely blew my mind when I found out that Danny Elfman, the guy who wrote Nightmare Before Christmas, had a band that he had long before the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep.
Absolutely
Oh,
blew
my
my mind
God.
when I found that
I was
out.
surprised to learn that Danny Elfman from Oingo Boingo was a composer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and that it kind of just makes my heart happy to know that because I think their music was brilliant and unique, and I think part of the reason why it was so fun, and you can feel an artist's passion and enjoyment, and when they're doing their stuff, and the idea that he's moved on to be a composer, I think is really kind of thrilling.
No, absolutely.
I was a huge Queen fan, and that path has led through an eclectic amount of music because I was on my own for quite a bit. I went straight to a job, and so I was very influenced right out of college with just my coworkers. It was a tech company, government contracting company, and so it was all pop music, dance music. We went to the clubs a lot, and then when I met my husband, my musical tastes changed dramatically, and I was introduced to bands that you do not hear at the pop clubs, you do not hear at the dance clubs, and fell in love with artists like Tony Childs, who is amazing. I listen to her stuff over and over and over again. It's just bluesy and painful and just beautiful stuff. So my list now, I mean, if I go ahead and transition to what I've got, and as I was preparing for the show and I'm looking through my list, you could almost name it and I've got it on there. I've got such a variety, and that's part of why I love going back through this, is because even the songs we're embarrassed by, we wouldn't mind sitting down right after this and going back and listening to it and laughing.
Oh, yeah. Not even laughing, just like appreciating the memories it brings up and the space and time you listen to it and all that significance. It really is very powerful.
And I think that's what I've done a lot lately is I don't have a lot of exposure to music, and music's important as far as coping with my life and understanding, getting through a work day and passing time, and my music playlists are usually geared toward my emotions. But if I've got a song now that I'm just happy with, I'll just go buy it. Whatever it is, I'll just go ahead and go buy it. So I've got this huge eclectic list. But also, I'll go out and I'll think, man, I wish I had a playlist with these types of songs, and then I'll go out and look for lists that like people like Jules makes, and I'll find songs I don't know anything about, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's how I learn about new songs, because who listens to the radio anymore for music?
Almost never. Almost never.
Nope.
No.
I do.
Do you? You're the only one. No.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't drive that much. It's only in my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the music that's played on the radio now, though?
Well, that's what's tough because first of all, there's so many commercials, right?
Yeah.
And I am constantly switching from the station to station because I don't like what's on the radio. And because I have, tastes that I like so many different genres of music, that I'm always flipping between the different stations. But there aren't. What I do like about it now is that they have the digital stuff, so that as you're listening to a song, you can at least see who it
Who
is.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes it sticks or it's delayed and you miss who it is or something. And that's when I'll probably write something about it eventually on the site. The wonderful app called Shazam comes in on my phone, or I Shazam it so I can find out what it was. But um, anyway, so I I keep saying I need to make like a new CD because my player doesn't have it where you can just hook up your phone very easily. You have to do the antenna thing. Anyway, but yeah, I actually discover more music now through Pandora, and creating the different stations there. And man, that has just opened up a whole new world
Agreed.
of different kinds of music. I am just so grateful for that that what do you call it, app or music program.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I get that, and also from listening, I really pay attention to the music that's in the TV shows and movies that I watch. More music has really taken a huge role. It used to be that soundtracks weren't that big thing, and then they started getting bigger with like Grease, and then like Footloose was a really big one.
Mhm.
And now, like, I mean, every Joe Blow movie has some kind of a soundtrack because they know there's money to be made off of it, right? But I get a lot of music from using Shazam when I'm watching a TV show or something. Luckily, it's most of it's streaming, so I can go back and grab my phone and play the little snippet of the song that's on on the TV. Because there's so much great music out there that's being introduced in TV and movies, and so yeah. So the radio part, I do still listen to it because I'm always trying to hear new stuff and determined to find something new I like, but but I get more of it off other things.
Well, I appreciate your dedication to going back to the radio because I put on the radio the other day and I have 4 or 5 stations programmed in and I couldn't find anything that didn't have a commercial on it at like one point, and I was like,
That's the way it goes.
It really does. It really is annoying. One of the things I thought about when I was putting together my list of like the current music that I'm interested in is how different my consumption of music is now that it's digital. There's a huge difference. Like I almost never buy an album anymore. Like I will very rarely buy an album. I just buy the songs I'm interested in. So when I was like putting together the list of songs or artists, I'm like picking out songs that I have like 1 or 2 songs of from this artist. Like it wouldn't be like when I was talking about Tiffany or Julian Lennon or even Sarah McLachlan or albums that I've listened to the entire album of over and over and over and over.
Yep.
I don't have that anymore, and I actually realized that a while back, and I started trying to force myself into listening to albums more in their entirety because I felt like there's oftentimes that a song that isn't the hit on an album is my favorite, and I feel like we kind of miss that, looking at the breadth of what an artist has to offer instead of focusing on just whatever's kind of spoon-fed to you as the hit songs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been an interesting thing. And a lot of my more recent music is all like this weird, world dance music because I do Zumba. And so shout out to Jen for like exposing me to Shakira and some other different stuff that I just never would have found. I have like Lady Gaga songs and Calvin Harris songs that are all songs from like dancing to, as opposed to stuff that I might have picked up anywhere else. So that was a completely different thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also don't listen to the radio anymore. It had gotten to the point where like I have a car that I bought in Connecticut, drove it across the United States to move to Portland, and the woman that I was dating last year, she got into my car and she was just like, yeah, can I listen to the radio? I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? I don't care. I'll listen to whatever you're going to listen to. And she brings up the radio. All of the presets were still on Connecticut radio station because I just hadn't bothered with changing and I had been here for a year at that point.
Oh, oops.
Yeah. So as she said, and they're like, you seriously like you seriously like haven't even done the presets. I'm like, what part of I don't listen to the radio anymore did you not get? Like that is how little the radio means to me. Like
Yeah.
I only listen to it when you're in the car. That is literally it. Because otherwise, like I have a phone, the car has Bluetooth, and
Right,
I just
and that's
play what I
it.
want.
Yeah.
But yeah, Amazon Music is.
I was going to say the same thing.
Has been the one that has been really like revolutionized my musical tastes. Post college. I don't know what post college is, but whatever. 2014 till now, we'll call that post college. You see, because I'm a Prime member, so I've got the whole free shipping, and then I do the movies and the music. Like there's so much stuff that I can just hit add to library, and it's here. I'm like, oh, if it's free and I can stream it to my phone in approximately 3 seconds, like why not? I'll go ahead and I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that I've discovered was recommended. Well, some of it was recommended to me from friends. Some of it was recommended to me just because Amazon recommends everything. Lindsay Sterling is the big one. Do any of you know who she is?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So she was on America's Got Talent a couple of seasons ago. I don't watch reality television garbage, but my parents do. So that's how I found out about her. Because there's this crazy person who's playing violin and also doing these crazy hip hop ballet inspired moves on a stage, and it is unlike anything I have seen and or heard before. She does a lot of this. Oh goodness, what is it called? The style of music that Skrillex does, dubstep. That's what it's called, dubstep. Dubstep with violins, and she is.
That sounds so strange.
She is
So strange.
phenomenal. Like you would have never thought dubstep plus violins equals amazing, but it does.
Huh.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. This is a new wave of music, of these new musicians coming up with classical training that are playing these.
Oh yeah.
And it is amazing.
It's absolutely incredible. If you can find her on YouTube, just Lindsay Sterling. You will find like 1.5 million music videos that she's done. Like all of her music videos are wonderful. The dancing is incredible. The thing that really just struck me was going back to my college years when I was really into musicals. She did a cover or a medley, 7-minute medley of Phantom of the Opera. And she had her entire band in phantom masks, and just like her rendition of the music of the night just made my heart soar. I was really excited. I've seen her in concert once, and I want to go down and see her in Eugene when she comes here, but the show's currently sold out. So I might go down there and haggle with one of those street vendors. Yeah, that's what they're called, the scalpers.
Yeah.
Let me see. So another one that I've listened to is Postmodern Jukebox. They're a cover band that covers a lot of modern music. A la like 1920s ragtime or 1930s swing, and it's absolutely wonderful. I've heard One Direction songs covered as swing, and I had no idea that it's One Direction. So I heard they did No Diggity. They've done that stupid Meghan Trainor song, all about that bass, whatever. They did Creep, like this haunting version of Creep by Radiohead, and like I'm going through their entire album selection. They've got 5 available for free on Amazon, and I couldn't tell you probably 90% of the music that they're covering just because it sounds so good. It doesn't sound derivative of the original song at all. It's amazing. And then let's see, another America's Got Talent act that I watch is Pentatonics. They're this 5-person a cappella group because
That's
of course
mine. That was
acapella.
supposed to be mine.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
mine. They're mine. I don't care. They're mine.
So, okay. So also, Straight No Chaser. They're another great a cappella group that Amazon's got 1 million albums of.
Is that the one you told me about, Julie? You mentioned some a cappella group I was supposed to check out.
Straight No Chaser.
No.
Okay. Well, they're pretty great, and they come to Portland every year around Christmas, so you should go.
Oh, I should check that out.
They're incredible.
Oh, music.
And then the most recent, I have to owe to my friend Kate, who's been nagging me about it for months and months and months, was the Hamilton soundtrack. I finally listened to it, and because I found out that the composer Lin-Manuel Miranda is Puerto Rican, and I'm Puerto Rican, so I said, okay, like, I'm going to go ahead and support a brother.
Yeah. Well, I have to throw this comment in here. So we had a comment from Amy who was watching, and she said, I'm late to the conversation, so I'm assuming you've already discussed the Hamilton soundtrack taking over the country, right?
Yes.
And we hadn't actually, but thank you.
You're welcome, Amy. So yeah, Hamilton is absolutely wonderful. I've started taking some recommendations from my cousin about rap and hip hop music that I should be listening to, because of the Hamilton soundtrack. Because I thought to myself, like, that's the one genre of music that I've really never really touched at all. Rock, classical, just straight up pop music. Like, I've never touched hip hop, never touched rap. So he's starting me off on like this Def Jam stuff. I'm like, when do I get to the Wu-Tang Clan? Like, I'm really excited to go ahead and watch this album like a giddy little kid. But Hamilton, just like with all the precise stuff that they're doing with the raps, and they frame cabinet battles or cabinet debates as rap battles. It's absolutely incredible. Just musically, what he does, it's like this is becoming a new touchstone for me. Like what Rent was in college, Hamilton is kind of becoming. For me as a I guess a budding young professional, as the entire musical deals with legacies, and what if you never get good enough, and what if you're never satisfied with what you're doing. So it's a lot, and it's dealing with a lot of themes that are just close to me personally at this time in my life. So that's another one that I'm listening to at least 2-3 times a week. It's long. It's a commitment. It's like 2 hours. So Regina, you can go from Vancouver to Salem and listen to one act, and then Salem back to Vancouver will get you most of Act 2.
Oh, that's great.
Minus like a song. Not like I've done it before, but I've done it.
That was voice of experience, I can tell.
Yes.
I'm looking at pictures of Lindsay Sterling online, and this girl looks like a geek.
Oh gosh, she's amazing. She's covered a lot of video game music. She's covered the Halo soundtrack. She's covered the Assassin's Creed soundtrack. I think she did Prince of Persia as well. She did a Pokemon one, which was absolutely phenomenal.
She's got some a cover. It looks like she's in Assassin's Creed gear, and she's in some elf gear, and pretty cool. She's wonderful.
She did the Game of Thrones theme song. There's almost nothing that she won't do. It's a pleasure watching her live. Because you think to yourself, like, what are you going to go ahead and do with a violinist live? But she nails it. Absolutely. I was captivated through the entire 90-minute set.
Well, I think it's significant. We were talking about going from albums to the radio, and now where we're getting our music. And this is something I've always believed. That I know the industry has gone through stages where it's been very, very nervous. It's nervous about digital content. It's nervous about losing money. But I just tend to think that artists will find a way, and I really appreciate Jules introducing the idea that we're getting a lot of our music now from films and from television, which is actually the same thing for me as well. I mean, I just started listening to the X Ambassadors because of that album. And I've started listening to a couple of other people because of songs in Borderlands.
Nice.
So, yeah. And I think that's great. I think it's great for the artist, and there's absolutely nothing that makes me happier than sitting down and listening to the song and remembering playing Borderlands,
That's
nice.
Very cool. I wanted to insert in here another comment that Amy had made. She said, I recently realized that while music was part of the background in my house growing up, that hasn't been the case for my kids. So I set a prompt on my phone to remind me to put music on in the morning.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
They need a music education.
Mhm.
Start them with School of Rock.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a great place to start. I was actually noted that yesterday. My daughter has been recently interested in the Minions movie. I'm not really sure exactly where that came from, but they definitely picked the music in that movie for the adults.
Oh, nice.
It's all like super nostalgia, like, it's just, yeah, you have to check it out. If you haven't, it's very much one of those like animated movies that was really for the grown-ups. Because the jokes are just, it's funny. I mean, I've seen it now 6 times, so I mean, I've seen my fill of it, but
Well, I mean, I think that we've seen that there is no end of music topics that we can
Yeah,
talk about, because
definitely.
I would love to have a conversation about the different concerts that we've gone to.
Yeah,
That's a whole different list of things and a whole different list of experiences. There was another one. I love the idea of playlist. I don't know whether you guys make playlists or not, but I mean, Regina, you referenced it when you say, I just buy 1 or 2 songs here. I don't buy albums. And I think everybody who does digital music organizes it differently, and I love hearing about that. And of course, we talked about favorite song categories, which I think would also introduce a little more more embarrassing moments. And there was another one while you guys were talking. I was like, oh, we ought to talk about this, and I backed off because I didn't want to get into the subject. I think it would make another good show, and we've got to have another music show with Mark, because
it really is a shame that that although he has very, very good reason, and we hope very much that things are healing well for everybody in his life right now, that we did miss having Mark here today. So I miss having Ryan too, actually, because Ryan and Mark both are pretty heavy duty music guys, so they would have been great to have part of the conversation. So I definitely think music is something that we can return to. With that said, for those of you listening and watching, if you have some feedback or some direction you'd like us to take with a music topic, please let us know. Check out our post on thegeekembassy.com. We'll have this up as a podcast episode tomorrow, if you weren't able to watch today. And check out our other articles, all written by people here today. Julie and Dante and Rhonda and myself, along with Isabella and Mark, are currently the ambassadors for the Geek Embassy. So we'd love your support. Please check us out and read our stuff. And lastly, again, another last-minute plug for Inkshares, Mothering the Game. Please go and pre-order a copy of my book and help me in the Nerdist contest and help me get to 250 pre-ordered copies so I can get a book contract.
Yeah, and I wanted to also plug our friend Tim Weaver.
Yes.
Regina, his new book is coming out this month too.
Oh, fantastic.
And, I'm excited for him because his books are building up steam in the U.S. He's from the UK, and he writes a series. It's the David Raker series of suspense thrillers that are just I think they're very uniquely and modern written, and they're all now available in the U.S. And awesome. His next book is coming out July 28th. So
awesome. He was on the show a couple of years ago now.
Yeah. Got to have a beer with him here in Raleigh whenever there was a thriller. I don't even know how to say that. Thriller suspense author convention. Really not trouble with the English language.
There's some tough words to put in here. I just want to share a couple of last comments that Amy shared about Hamilton. Her kids are obsessed with the soundtrack, and her just turned 6-year-old son even listens to it when he's falling asleep at night. And she said if she leaves her kids to their own devices, they will invariably put on Hamilton. That's like the thing that
there are worse albums to listen to.
There are worse albums to listen to, definitely. definitely, definitely a good sort of exposure there. So any
Thanks for
closing?
our listeners. Yay.
Thanks for our listeners. Thanks for those of you who participated in today's Hangout. We'd love to get feedback if you guys are able to attend the Hangouts. Now I think I've actually figured out how to make the Q&A work.
Yeah.
Although from feedback from Micah was that it was really hard to run on a mobile device, so we might see if there's a different way to do something for via mobile. But we love having you guys give your feedback while we're talking. So thanks for listening. Check out thegeekembassy.com, and until next time, get your geek on.
Goodbye.